I'm Darrell Hutchinson, and I'm a invasive species weed warrior.
And I'm Commander Ben, the invasive hunter. Could you tell me a little about yourself and what you do?
Well, I'm a biologist working and living here in Austin. And most of the work I do is with the endangered Golden-Cheeked Warbler. And Golden-Cheeked Warbler is a neotropical migrant bird that most people think is our bird, but really it lives most of the time in Mexico, in Central America. And it only comes up here to breed. And what we do is we put little colored bands on the ones that come to some of the lands here in Central Texas. We put little colored bands around their legs so that we can tell each individual. And then we go back and watch them year after year, find out which ones return, find out which ones die, find out which ones breed successfully, and find out which ones don't. And by doing that, we can tell how healthy the population is of Golden-Cheeked Warblers here in the Austin area.
Very interesting. Now, what is this tool you have?
This is a weed wrench. So, one of the other things I do is I remove invasive species. So when we find one that's sort of a culprit, you get it and you see these big teeth?
Yes.
All right, so what I'm gonna do,
ouch.
Ouch. I'm gonna put these teeth around the invasive species like that. Now, if it's a huge tree, this is not gonna work. And if it's a teeny little plant, it's not gonna work. But if it's right in the middle, it's gonna work. Then you take it and it squeezes the invasive species, and then without much more strain on my back, I go and take that sucker out.
Yes.
Just like that.
Rhizomes and everything.
Rhizomes and everything.
So, how long have you been working with invasives?
Invasive species. Well, let's see. I've been a biologist for about 20 years. Invasives, probably about the last 8 or 10.
Wow. What got you interested in it?
Well, I love everything that's alive. So I like the birds, I like the bees, I like the plants, because, you know, it's just a web of interdependence. And as soon as you become interested in birds, you become interested in where the birds live. As soon as you become interested in birds live, you become interested in the trees and the plants. And then soon you want to know what the birds eat, and then you're interested in the insects, and on and on and on.
And what the insects eat.
And what the insects eat, indeed.
Is there anything that you really find very interesting about invasives and the problems that they're causing?
The problems that they're causing. Well, you know, didn't we just hear from a talk a moment ago, you and I, Commander Ben, that invasive birds, most of the birds that are going extinct or threatened with extinction are being threatened by invasive species, some of which are plants, but others are probably, I'm thinking maybe insects eating the food, wood-boring beetles,
English ash borer,
right? Taking out the trees that the birds need, that kind of stuff. And I just enjoy the web of interdependence, and it's kind of satisfying, you know, when you know it's something that really shouldn't be there, because you'd rather have native species there, to just wrap your little weed wrench around it and pull that sucker right out of the ground. It's quite invigorating. You want to try?
Sure. Get those invasives. I'm not as good as you.
Well.
Here you go.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much for this interview. You've got a lot of energy and you're really passionate about what you're doing. That's what I love. And I hope that I'm like that too.
Oh, you are, Ben. You are. And it's very nice meeting you and being on your blog.
Thank you, sir.